When we have a fifth Thursday in the month, like we do this month, we tap into wisdom of accomplished authors and other artists. This month is a bonus because we have two creatives weighing in on the same subject. They address an issue I certainly struggle with, and maybe you do too. Hi, my name is Patricia Charpentier, and welcome to episode 120 of the Life Writers Vlog, where you can find inspiration and useful tips to help you write your life stories. When it comes to writing, sometimes I'm my own worst enemy. I get up in my head, think too much, compare myself to other writers and their work, try to figure out the entire story before I write the first word, and on and on and on. Is that just me, or do you struggle with those types of thoughts when you write? I believe this is a struggle many writers have. C.S. Lewis was a British literary scholar, a lay theologian, and author of more than 30 books of fiction, nonfiction, theology, philosophy, and poetry. He was probably best known in the general public for writing the Chronicles of Narnia. He was quite an accomplished man who spent a great deal of his time composing his classic works using pen and paper. This is what he said about the creative process. The first demand any work of art makes upon us is surrender. Look, listen, receive, get yourself out of the way. I love that last part especially. Get yourself out of the way. I so agree with Lewis, but for me, getting out of my own way is much easier said than done. For words to come, I first need to convince myself that no one will ever see or hear them, that what I write is for my eyes only. Otherwise, my throat gets tight, my fingers freeze, my mind goes blank, and I cannot eke out the first word. Julia Cameron is an American teacher, an author, artist, poet, playwright, novelist, filmmaker, composer, and journalist. This woman does it all, and is probably best known for her book, The Artist's Way, which maps out a 12-week program to inspire creativity and remove what gets in the way. The Artist's Way was published in 1992 and has sold more than 3 million copies to date and is still in print. It had a profound impact on my creative life when I first studied it not long after it came out. At that time, I had not written anything for more than 10 years. And The Artist's Way was part of my journey back to the page and into graduate school for creative writing. Julia Cameron tells us this: the creative process is a process of surrender, not control. I'm going to read that again. The creative process is a process of surrender, not control. Mystery is at the heart of creativity. That and surprise. There's that word again, surrender. Both Lewis and Cameron use that word, surrender. Surrender has many implications, many of them negative, but the type of surrender these two writers are talking about is not that. Surrender involves letting go of an outcome. Letting go of thinking we know how a piece should be written. Surrender involves trust, believing the muse, the creativity inside you, a higher power, whatever it is you want to call it, is going to help you write what needs to be written in the way it should be written. Surrender involves letting go of what is and having faith in what might be. And surrender usually involves doing less rather than more. For me, surrender is a concept that's easy to understand but difficult to put into practice. The more something means to me, like writing my memoir, the more I struggle to surrender, even though I know it's what I need to do. I tend to think that surrender requires some big, dramatic act, but most of the time it doesn't. It simply involves letting go of the fight, putting aside the thoughts, the worries, and the brute force attempts to force a story into existence, and allowing the magic to happen. I know all of that can sound a little woo-woo, but you probably have experienced it in your writing and in other areas of life. So tell us about your experience with surrender and letting go of control in your writing. Have you struggled with wanting to control your writing at times? What has that looked like for you? What are the usual outcomes of those struggles? What do you do to invite surrender into your work? Or do you believe this is all a bunch of nonsense and you just have to force yourself to get your writing done? Share your thoughts and experiences on surrendering to the creative process in the comments section below. But always remember, if you surrender or if you don't, the only way to do this wrong is to not do it at all. The only way to do this wrong is to not do it at all. Until next time, happy writing, everybody.
Don't miss the next episode. Sign up to be notified of future posts and upcoming events. Use the buttons below to share this episode on social media or with a friend who might like it. If you enjoyed this week's episode, you will love our Life Writers membership. Whether you don't know where to start writing your life stories, have started and stopped many times, or have been writing but want to receive feedback to make your stories better, the Life Writers membership is where you need to be. We have a Get Started roadmap, an extensive library of instructional videos, live events via Zoom, and a supportive and active community. If you want to take the stories that live in your heart and mind and put them into words on the page, check out Life Writers at lifewriters.us.